Welcome, citizens of Freeport and Stevenson County. I'm Jody Miller, Mayor of the City of Freeport.
I'm Craig Benton, I'm the Public Health Administrator for Stevenson County.
And we'd like to talk to you today about some COVID-19 things, and specifically, what are some things that citizens can do to help? So, I always believe that it's important to be a part of the solution. You know, we have a lot of smart, creative people out there, and to have them be a part of solutions, I think, is important. And so, once again, I think everyone should do their part. A few things that come to my mind is it's a great time to do yard work and house projects. And I think with our kids being home from school, it's a great opportunity to teach your kids about simple little things that you might not otherwise have time for. You know, it's amazing how many kids don't know how to use a rake, so perfect opportunity to be able to do that. And paint. You know, lots of people are taking this opportunity to, you know, do some simple little things in their home. And again, I think it's a great way to be able to interact with your family and to be able to make those project changes. Another thing I think about is helping your neighbor. You know, we have our most vulnerable part of the community is our elderly. And there's a lot of elderly people that live alone. And so to be able to make a phone call and just check on them and call them and say, you know, can I pick up some groceries or some medication for you? I think those things are important. Just helping with alleviating the loneliness that people can have through times like this, I think, are important. Craig, what are some things that you personally do?
Well, we'll order out and have delivery, but then we'll ask the neighbor, hey, what do you think? I'm just going to pick it up. So I mean, I think it's really important to be knowing what your neighbor is doing, not to the point you want to be knowing elderly person. You really want to know what's going on, and you can do it easily in a friendly, neighborly way.
Yeah, I think those are great things. And you know, what a perfect opportunity to make better health choices. You know, I hear so often that people are spending 24/7 in front of Netflix, which, you know, I get that point. Once in a while you got to do that, but that's a long time to be spending just in front of the TV. So I'd like to encourage our listeners to make better choices in their health, make better choices with better food and taking your vitamins. I take a probiotic every day. I take some vitamin C, some vitamin D, and zinc. Zinc really helps with your immune system. So those are just little things that I'm personally doing. And I also think it's just a great time to build your immune system to fight off viruses. Any virus, you know, up your immune system, make that better, make healthier choices, get out, get some exercise, get some fresh air. And I think it's also a great time to honestly evaluate your own life and how you can do better. So another thing I think is important to talk about what citizens can do is if you don't have to go out, don't. And if you don't have to take your children to the grocery store, don't. I think those are things that are important to help to slow the spread.
Absolutely. I think you'll find some of the food store chains are allowing just one person per cart.
Right.
And then you'll find that some are, okay, we have our 120 people in the store, you'll have to wait to come in until one person leaves.
And it's really a common sense approach. I mean, when you go to the grocery store, you don't have to have a year's supply of toilet paper. Stop hoarding, you know, get what your needs are. And if everyone takes care of the need, there'll be plenty for everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, the need has developed because of our panic.
Right. And so that's another thing, to stay positive. You know, people have got to think about the mental health is really, really important. And sometimes you just got to shut the news off. You know, when your mind gets bombarded with all the negativity, it isn't good for anyone. You have to take captive those thoughts and not allow fear in your life. You know, it's a choice of whether you want to be at peace and have some joy in your life. So don't let those things rob you. And fear has a way of robbing lots. So it's about, you know, taking captive those things. Another thing, Craig, what do you think about social media? Everything you read on social media, you think is true?
No.
No, it's not. So you know what? Do your part in stopping spreading rumors. So if you know something is just not true, it's okay to say, wait a minute, that's not a fact.
Absolutely. A lot of the social media, Facebook types of bad information is, I know somebody's positive. They're not. And how come I can't get tested? Well, there's criteria for that.
Right.
And what you're finding in a lot of times with hospitals and the providers, you're ill, don't come in, call.
Right.
And if you have those type of symptoms, they're telling you to stay home for 14 days. Well, once you tell another person that you've got to stay home for 14 days, that person hears that and thinks you're positive, and that passes along.
Right.
There's been an enormous amount of rumors and bad information out there.
So, and other things that people have done, obviously we've got lots of people making masks, but I know we've also had ones that have doing little birthday parades and honking horns when kids' birthdays are, and people giving away food, and the Salvation Army putting in ways for people to come there and pick up food to go, and so also taking a walk, picking up trash. It's a perfect time to call City Hall and become a part of the Adopt a Street program. Adopt a Street program is a commitment to at least a half a mile of city streets, and you pick up the litter and the debris at least 3 times a year. You can get the gloves, the vests, the bags from City Hall, and what a great way to teach your kids in that as well, that it's a great way to give back to the community and make your neighborhoods look better. And back to common sense, Craig, it really is like any other virus. You've got to wash your hands. You've got to keep the personal hygiene levels up. If you have a cough, cover it. If you don't feel well, stay home. So my philosophy, let's rise above this. Let's not return to business as usual, the normal thing. Let's be better. Let's be better at taking care of ourselves and taking care of our neighbors and keeping that positive end of things instead of going on the negative. So I think there's always ways that you can consider to be better, kinder, more loving person.
Absolutely, and I encourage people to do the drive-thrus for restaurants and call to have deliveries made per store. There's people that would pick up medications, but just keep in mind that this can go on for a while. And when I say a while, I've heard 2 months, I've heard 18 months. Now, will it stay like this for a long time? Possible, but we don't really know that.
Yeah, we don't know. So what we do know is that we should each do our part and slow it. So once again, thank you for joining us, and as everyone does their part, we'll get through this together.
Absolutely.